Creativity changes the everyday. Creativity is beautiful. Creativity is active. Creativity is freedom. Alpha NEX5 debut.
Sony.
Well, Herbie Rosenberg, now you're with africareps, and from speaking with you earlier on, you're clearly South African. So tell me, I mean, there can't be anything better, surely, than having a South African who's an expert on Africa.
Well, I would like to think that. I've been involved in African inbound tourism for over 30 years. And thanks for the compliment about my accent. I didn't think it was that noticeable, but I'm very proud of it. But, as an ex-South African, I've now been in Australia, here in Melbourne, for 2.5 years, and consider myself a new Australian.
Brilliant. Well, congratulations and welcome to Australia. Now, you're a partner with Luxperience, and as you know, Luxperience is all about aimed at showcasing the very best of high-end experiential product. And I should just explain to everybody that's going to be listening to this, we're doing this on Skype because Herbie is down in Melbourne and I'm currently in Sydney. So if there's a bit of a crackle or anything on it, then that's the reason. But Luxperience is aimed at showcasing the very best of high-end experiential product available in the marketplace here, with luxury being in the experience. So what would you be promoting at Luxperience in Sydney in September?
Well, let's say I'm the representative for a number of properties in 13 African countries. So I have a vast range, and covering predominantly game reserves, game lodges, and some hotels as well. Mm-hmm. But from that point of view, everything that I have in my representation portfolio is basically top end. It's upmarket stuff. It's luxury. It's, as you say, experiential, and this is what I will be promoting at Luxperience.
Mm-hmm. Fantastic. So, when we talk about experiential, give me some examples of the sort of experiences that people who go on the tours and the products that you represent will be able to experience, I suppose.
It's a very, very open-ended question, and I'll try and answer that to the best of my ability. Because the experiences are so diverse. If you consider the Great Migration in Kenya, if you consider climbing Table Mountain or going up the cableway in Table Mountain in Cape Town, if you consider the Okavango Delta in Botswana or the deserts of Namibia, each one in its own right is an unbelievable experience. So anybody considering Africa as a destination needs to sit down with one of the agents or operators who specialize in that destination, because we need to evaluate what the best program will be to the needs and the requirements of every individual.
Wow. So in terms of some of the names of some of the products, can you tell me a bit about those and what I might see if I went on one of your programs? What might I see and what might I experience in one of these African countries?
Okay, just bear in mind that I am the representative and they're not my program.
Okay, cool.
I work only with the trade. I support the trade and I support all the trade channels. So I work in a support role for the Australian travel industry. Be it retail or wholesale, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I represent basically 4 companies. Mm-hmm. These companies are called Wilderness Safaris, who are probably the biggest safari operator in Africa, covering 9 African countries with over 70 safari camps. Then I have Great Plains Conservation that operates in 2 African countries. Then I've got the Legacy Hotel Group with hotels in Southern Africa, and Legend Lodges that operate game lodges and resorts in Southern Africa as well. So it's a vast range.
It's a very diverse product range.
It is indeed. And this is why the Australian travel industry finds me so fascinating, because whenever I can talk to them, they're listening with wide open mouths.
Yeah, absolutely.
So much to tell them.
Yeah. So in terms of the sort of people that take your programs, or the programs of the operators you represent, okay, are we talking about sort of more top-end travellers, or are we talking about people across the range?
People across the range, because I cover products basically ranging from 3-star to 5-star, if one can categorize it.
What would you describe as some of the really best high-end experiential products that you offer through your representation in the Australian marketplace?
Well, the ones that come to mind are the premier camps that fall under the Wilderness Safaris banner in Botswana and Namibia, I would say, as well as the Great Plains Conservation Camps in Botswana and in Kenya, where we operate in the Masai Mara and in the Amboseli region. Those are the top end game reserves, and there are a number of those. There are 20 or 30 of those that I could list.
Yeah.
Then, of course, I've got some 5-star hotel properties in South Africa as well, such as the Michelangelo Hotel in Sandton in Johannesburg, which is the leading hotel of the world's 5-star property.
Yep, brilliant. So, in terms of a sort of just going back to the safaris for a second, there are a lot of safaris available. What makes yours, or the ones you represent, better or different and more experiential than the mass ones available in the marketplace?
Well, for one simple reason, that we've been around for longer than anybody else, and therefore have been able to pick the plums and operate in the finest game areas on the African continent. So, that's a well-known fact, and you speak to virtually any operator that knows a bit about Africa, they'll recognize that what we've got, or what I represent, is the very finest of what you can get.
Well, what sort of people do you hope to meet or hope to see in Luxperience in Sydney when it takes place here in September?
Well, the fact that Luxperience, just by virtue of its name, is a luxury travel mart. I'm looking to meet travel agents, and maybe tour operators. I'm not quite sure who's going to be invited, but travel agents certainly that have an interest in Africa, that focus on Africa, and are prepared to work with my principals and the wholesalers that I support. As I said earlier, I support I'm a support role for the industry, and I support the existing channels.
Yeah.
So that's really what I'm looking to do there. I'm looking to have eyeball to eyeball with the top end industry, which Luxperience told me are going to be invited to the forum. And from my point of view, I'm a small operation. I'm based in Melbourne, and it's sometimes very difficult to meet everybody face to face. It's just such a big, this is a big country, and it's difficult to travel around.
Yeah.
So to have everybody under one roof with quality time, that is invaluable for me.
Absolutely. And look, from what I've heard, they've got some amazing people coming along, so I'm sure you won't be disappointed. Literally, quickly before we go, if somebody, or a travel agent or tour operator, wants to find out more information about Africa Reps, do you have a website?
I do indeed. It's www.africareps.com. Simple as that.
That's a simple one. www.africareps.com. Herbie, I look forward to seeing you in Luxperience in Sydney, and I hope it'll be as valuable to you as I'm sure that Luxperience have said it will be. I know there's going to be some amazing people there, and I know you'll do wonderful business, and I'll see you there.